All right, hi guys, welcome to RTX Pinball Post, episode 26. And tonight we're going to be going over and looking at what is next. We've covered 2025 ad nauseum in the last couple months, really. We've seen all the new games for new pinball, for real pinball, for digital pinball. We've got a lot of stuff that's speculated for 26, but not necessarily a lot confirmed. Digital is a little more clear. Real is kind of up in the air. There's a whole lot of speculation about what's out there, but lots to cover tonight. So hope you guys are ready to have a candid discussion about rumors and speculation and all of the crazy stuff that surrounds this amazing community. Starting with the chat, Rodley Smith. I need to know how to hook up a computer so I can hook up to the 4KP. I assume that was before the channel started. Fat Hog, we're never going to get that wrong. Back panel started to take care of some of that screen configuration stuff. Human, welcome to the stream. Hey gang, I'm on time this week. Awesome, man. Good to have you. Wingo, welcome. Point of Blame, hi everyone. Soggy Bacon says pinball stuff. Woohoo! Gotta love it. And then Leon Spiegel, welcome. Alright guys, well, 2026. So we've covered 2025, like I said, and so 2026 has got some really cool stuff going on. I thought we'd have a really good conversation about all the kind of stuff that's going on. Always a little tough to start these conversations because we don't know a ton. We know a little bit about what's going on, but Stern has been pumping out basically almost 3 to 4 games a year. Barrels of Fun put out 2 last year, which was kind of crazy. We got to see Dune early on in the year, and then of course Winchester was kind of a surprise. This year we have some speculations on Barrels of Fun, but they just put out Winchester in October at Chicago Expo, so that's something that we don't know that they're going to be ready to push out another table yet, and they certainly don't want to. They can't crush the sales of those 2 games because they were already sold out. So I know Spectre Gaming in my Discord actually just bought a Dune and got a confirmation of it last week, and I thought that those were not selling anymore after December 31st, but apparently that's not the case. Maybe not from Barrels of Fun directly. He got it from a distributor flipping out pinball out of Illinois area, Chicago basically area. So anyway, sound great today, RTX. Perfect. Huma, that's good, man. That's good. I finally think I've figured out some of the audio issues that I've had in the past. So thank you guys for being critical for me on audio. I think I finally got it dialed in. I've changed the gain a couple of times to get it just right. So hopefully it will work out great. Skull Joe, good evening, guys. How's it going? It's been a great week. It's been a great week, honestly. We got a lot of snow today, so I was out using the snow thrower and stuff like that. We got some crazy days ahead of us. Apparently we're going to get 4 days of pretty good snow here in the Metro Detroit area. So it is what it is. Chalada Love, welcome to the stream, buddy. Love you, man. I've been missing your streams, dude. I'm like, what do I do at lunch? I don't know what to do with myself. So I've been following all kinds of different stuff, finding other streams. The Beamy, I was in a stream with him today, watching this guy out in Minnesota, and he was doing a tier list of real pinball machines, and he had some really controversial picks. So I was like, is this guy a moron? I don't know. He had Mandalorian at a very low, and I'm like, that's the table I want to buy. So I couldn't. I sort of rage. He didn't get a good rating. Nothing he said made sense to me. So anyway, let's get into the topics at hand. We got lots to cover, and some really good stuff happening in the real pinball world first. So we're going to cover that first. Some really cool stuff. And a lot of times, you guys, I know most of you guys that watch my channel are digital for the most part, or VPin. But there is, I think all of us have some capacity of going to arcades and really enjoying the real stuff as well. So we're going to cover some of that. And then we'll get into a little bit later the digital stuff. And if you guys that are only here for the real stuff, you can drop off if you want. We totally understand that. So that's why I do it in that order. And we'll kind of go from there. T-Bone is in the house. Hey, RTX, I'm sad the brick canceled my 4KP. Yeah, I heard, dude. That's terrible, man. You've been really looking forward to that thing, and then it just kind of, like, come on, man. House House of Hounds is streaming pinball again. Yes, I seen him. I watched some of his stream today, actually, from the other day, so that was pretty cool. So first up, let's talk a little bit about Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice, I did a video on probably a couple months ago, I want to say, and I actually talked about it in the on the Pinball Post as well, because Christopher Franchi, who works for Spooky, actually said my channel looked like crap, and then I needed to figure out why my stuff was so washed out. I still think it's washed out more than it should be. It looks better on my display than it does there, but these monitors are calibrated about as good as I can get them. So, but Beetlejuice. Who's excited for Beetlejuice? Now, I know this is an older IP. I mean, this is one I don't even remember watching a lot of Beetlejuice as a kid. I know there's some people that are really, really excited about this game. I think people are more excited about this game because it's spooky, less that it's Beetlejuice. Now, I could be wrong on that. If you guys are huge fans of Beetlejuice, I'd love to hear it. You know, I kind of criticize some of the artwork on this one, but at the same time, I think it's really cool. You've got some sections over here where you've got the actual character Michael Keaton over here. This guy here from the has the carousel head and stuff. I don't even remember that from the movie. Now, I don't know about everybody else, but to me, that was something that I just do not remember. It's got some cool mechs though. This gate here with like this devil horn kind of thing from the fun house or like a carnival is pretty cool. They really fell deeply into the carnival theme here, I think. But I love the colors. I mean, you can see there's the bright greens on this side. There's the purple here. There's red. There's like a deep black over here. You know, just the color exudes this table. It is just really, really cool in that regard. I love that they did this Polaroid camera. If you can see that up there. Apparently they do like a flash that resembles a Polaroid camera during the game, which is pretty cool. So this one is I don't know what to think about this. Spooky games are really hard to find a lot of times, so that's really tough for me. I love spooky games that I've been able to play. Obviously, my favorite is Total Nuclear Annihilation because I'm a huge Scott Danesi fan. If you're a pinball fan, I don't know how you could not be a Scott Danesi fan. He loves his spinners, and the sound effects that associate with them is absolutely chef's kiss. He does some spectacular music. He likes fast flowing tables. He likes to be able to shoot the ball at the flippers at 100 miles an hour. He did it on Final Resistance on the P3, and he also did it with Total Nuclear Annihilation and Final Resistance. So those are the two that he really did it on, and he does a fantastic job. I know he's not part of Spooky. He's actually part of the P3 line and he just did Portal. So that was really interesting there. Yeah, the carousel scene is great. Sounds like RTX needs to rewatch. Point of blame, you're probably really right. And that's what typically happens with me in pinball in general. I think I've mentioned it before. When I played Chucky, I had never watched the Chucky movies. You guys are gonna rib me pretty hard about that, but I'd never seen Chucky. I had never seen The Thing. I had never seen Battlestar Galactica. So I know, right? It's pretty crazy. You hope the table has the Day-O song for a mode. Soggy Bacon, it does. It absolutely does. They do have that song in the game, so they are very proud of that. They love that portion of the game. Day-O. Yes, it is part of the game. There is also, I don't know if you guys have heard, there's an audio. You can start the game by saying Beetlejuice 3 times. I don't know if you heard that. Pretty cool feature. I don't know that you'll ever be able to do that in the arcade. But for home use, that is going to be really, really cool. To have it recognize the voice, Beetlejuice, 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 and then the game starts is awesome. And then the other thing that I thought was really, really cool about this game is the first thing you do in this game is you actually die. You actually get plunged to this bridge here, and you see that car that goes out there. Apparently, the first time you plunge, or one of the ways you can plunge, will actually kill the ball, and it'll go underneath the flippers, and it'll actually be caught by a magnet in this location and actually throw it onto the playfield, a la the Fall of the Empire. So they've got some really cool gimmicks on this table, and I'm sure there's a lot more we haven't seen yet. I've seen some gameplay of it. Super excited for this one. Evil Dead has been absolutely huge for them this year, so that has been one that people have been super excited about. I've never seen Doctor Who, but the table is super fun. Yeah. Human, you're absolutely right, man. I've never seen Doctor Who either. It's huge in Britain. For whatever reason, they're huge Doctor Who fans. The time travel, I know it's kind of like they like their themes. They go with like James Bond. How many different James Bond movies have there been and changed the characters out? They've done the same thing with Doctor Who. They've changed that character out a million times. Apparently, they've even had a female Doctor Who. It's just kind of been all over the place. I don't know much about it, to be honest, Doctor Who or James Bond. I watched a few James Bond. I've seen some of the what is it, Craig? I can't even think of the guy's name. Something Craig was the main character for Bond. He looked pretty cool back in the day. And he doesn't even do it anymore now. So, what table comes out tomorrow? Clowns or something? T-Bone, yes. Clown Deluxe actually is announced, and it will come out tomorrow for the at-game system. And we're going to talk about that one for sure. I will have my review up at noon when that game comes out as well. So I did get a copy of it, so I have been playing it. So I'll have a review. I'll have a review of that so that you guys can have that immediately. So you can wait, check that out, and then make a choice based on that if you want. So absolutely, comes out tomorrow. Beetlejuice. So this topper. Now this is a cool topper. I don't generally like toppers. I think they're incredibly overpriced for what they are. What I don't understand is why. So the pinball machine itself is already about between 8 and 12 grand generally, unless it's a Jersey Jack, and then you're talking between $12,000 and $15,000, and then you're gonna put another $2,000 topper on top of some of these things. There's some really cool ones. Like I love Black Knight. I love Fishtails. Oh, excuse me. Fishtails, the one actually, I believe, came with the cabinet back in the day, and it has the flopping fish and the thing's banging all around and causing all kinds of chaos. That's pretty cool. The Evil Dead one I know had all kinds of fanfare associated with it. One of the ones that I like the best is Alice in Wonderland from Dutch Pinball, that has the really cool Cheshire cat with like the glowing eyes that kind of look back and forth. That is really cool. The game apparently is not that great, but Beetlejuice, this topper, like if you're gonna get this table and you're a huge fan of Beetlejuice, I would think you'd want to have this topper. Apparently this does the rattling of the rattlesnake and everything else, so it's reactive to the table. I don't know if there's going to be any eye movement to this. It doesn't look like it is. But man, oh man, crazy looking topper. I wouldn't have it. I have a topper for my digital pin, and I barely ever use it. It just causes more glare. I've actually thought, I already have my Grogu doll. And I'm thinking when I get my Mando machine, I'll just put that on top of it, and that'll be my topper. And then I would probably get a Razor Crest, because I really love the Razor Crest as opposed to the Naboo Starfighter that he has in the other series later on. So I would put that on the top of the machine. But yeah, Beetlejuice. That's coming out. We don't know a true release date for this yet. I mean, I'm kind of curious myself whether or not people are going to gravitate to this one. It's an interesting IP, but how many of do you guys all watch Beetlejuice? I mean, I never did. I mean, I seen a couple people say they talked about it, they seen it or something, but it really doesn't have the appeal to me that it probably does to some. I use Funko's as toppers. Fat Hog, you could do that. Yeah, a lot of people do that. I have heard of that. There is some good ones. I don't like the chibi style heads on those. They're kind of oversized heads. It's kind of like a chibi style Japanese character art kind of a thing. I like them better when they're more like the amiibos, for example. Like a true amiibo, I have several of them here, are actually pretty accurate. You look at this thing, and that is awesome. That is from Metroid 2, Return of Samus. Looks awesome. And they're their proportions are correct. They're graphically correct. This is the Metroid. So you got the actual Metroid breaking out of the canister. If you're familiar with the new game, Metroid Prime 4, you've got Viola with the amiibo from Metroid. So those are pretty cool. Yeah, not a big fan of Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice was a phenomenal movie. So there's two opinions right there that are completely opposite. Beetlejuice is a classic. So yeah, I'm kind of here or there on that. But so that is probably what we're going to get from Spooky. Now, the next one we're going to talk about is pretty interesting. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about Jersey Jack. Now, Jersey Jack has kind of become that premium pinball experience. And they have some of the best designers right now. So that's been pretty cool. They've got Brian Eddy. They got Steve Ritchie. What does that mean for this table? Well, if you don't recognize this IP, I would be shocked. There is not a single person in this chat that cannot be excited about this. What do you guys think it is? Do you guys already know what it is? Have you guys heard what the next Jersey Jack is rumored to be? Anybody? Fairlane Toys. That would be, Spawn. That would be a cool one, Soggy Bacon. I would dig a Spawn pinball machine. That would be freaking sweet. Anyone under 40 has no nostalgia for it. Oh my god, that would be awesome. Right? Spawn, that would be really cool. Okay. With no more fanfare, Sonic the Hedgehog. That's the rumor. Who's excited for a Sonic the Hedgehog pinball machine? Kind of interesting to me. This one I could be super excited about. Now, what do we associate with Sonic the Hedgehog? Speed. Speed, speed, speed. We love loops. We're going to have some loops. You got to figure there's going to be some loops. Now, if I know speed and loops as far as pinball goes, who do you think is going to do that justice? To me, it's lock. It's an absolute lock. It's got to be Steve Ritchie. Steve Ritchie, the last table he's done has been Elton John, so it's been a hot minute. I think he's working on Sonic the Hedgehog. And what better IP for him than loops and speed? So I am super excited for this one. And the not very good Sonic Spinball fame, right? I know, Sonic Spinball was a game, came out on Genesis, and the game wasn't particularly great, but the fact that he could crunch down into the ball and spin up and go through loops and you break through walls and all kinds of stuff, I would love to see. I'm going to tilt rings out of the machine. Stop nudging me. That's a great thing to say, man. Think of the sounds you're going to get with this table. Those rings, when you collect them, all those rings you're going to get. If you hit an orbit and you hit all those rings, it's going to be so good. You get a loop. I think they're going to have some of that, the graphics from the World 1-1, kind of a thing. The music could be fantastic. There's lots of really cool original soundtrack games music for that game. You could break through walls. They could have a wall where you could literally break through it. I mean, I could think of a million different things they could do with this game that would be really, really awesome. Got to have some chili dogs somewhere. T-Bone in the House says it might be good, but I am old. I don't know if I could keep up with my reflexes. Yeah, you'd be fine, man. You're not the only old people playing pinball. We're all old, man. I'm 47. This community has a lot of older people who've really enjoyed pinball. And I talked to a guy, Jerry, a few months ago. He's in his 70s, hadn't played pinball in forever, bought himself an HDP, and he was just so super excited to be able to play pinball again. So this is a hobby for anybody from very young age to very old. They could very much enjoy this hobby. Sonic turned into a ball to beat bosses, right? The wizard mode could be fighting Robotnik. I mean, you could go on and on and on. We have tons of source material on Sonic the Hedgehog that would be really, really cool. So this is an example of a VPX table using Sonic the Hedgehog. So we have plenty of examples of what Sonic the Hedgehog could look like. This is Sonic Pinball Mania, which was pretty cool. Now, obviously, this is not the real table. I don't want to confuse anybody. This is not what it's going to look like. But this was a VPX table. But this is just a good example of kind of the colorization and artwork. And, you know, if you play this, you have a good idea what the music's going to be like, that the sound could be. Obviously, this is licensed. This one has a Robotnik spinner. You know, I would love them to use the movie assets, but I don't think that's going to happen. They're going to go back to the video game version of it, of course. That's probably a better choice. Although I love Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik. That, to me, is incredible. He did a really good job in those movies. And he was quick to say that he would not come back to acting after 2, but then he came back for 3, and now there's rumors that he's doing some other type of crazy movies and stuff too. So, yeah, nice color on that. You're absolutely right. And they've got the Chaos Emeralds here. So hopefully they have some element of collecting Chaos Emeralds. So think of this. Maybe it's kind of like Totan, Tales of Arabian Nights, where you collect Chaos Emeralds, and then when you have all 7 of them, or all, what is it, 8 of them? No, it is 7 of them. Say you get all 7 of those, just like you do in Totan, and then you unlock a wizard mode. Fight Robotnik. Maybe you have to fight Robotnik every 2 levels. You fight Robotnik in some new way. You take shots, take some crossing shots. I would assume if it's a Steve Ritchie, he would do a 3-flipper design with lots of loops. One of those loops would have an actual 3-dimensional loop that you would do through a corkscrew. It'd be awesome. I'm going to actually draw up what I think the table would kind of be like, and I'll give you guys a taste of that in my Discord. But I think it would be really cool. If you've not seen the Sonic the Hedgehog movies, Human, you're saying maybe you haven't, that would be awesome. I think they're really good movies, actually. They are a little corny. I mean, it's Sonic the Hedgehog. They're live-action Sonic the Hedgehog movies. So, yes, they're a little corny. But I think they're really well done. They're actually quite fun. My kids would like them. In fact, my stepson, my bonus son, if you will, he and I actually, and his mom, we all went to Sonic the Hedgehog for his birthday. Took off a day for his birthday to go to those movies for the first movie and the second movie. He was so into them. So absolutely cool. I hope to put the Sega at the beginning of each game. That would be awesome. I figure it'd have to be licensed by Sega, right? So that's interesting. That's a good point you bring up, Soggy Bacon, because Sega used to do pinball machines. So there'd have to be some kind of tie-in there. Now, it is interesting. If they had this relationship with Sega, could they start to bring back Sega IPs from before? I hadn't even considered that, but, I mean, once you have a connection in that realm, like licensing an IP... Now, of course, this is speculation. You know, nothing's confirmed yet, but it's heavily, heavily rumored that it's Sonic the Hedgehog. So... man, I can't think of a better IP for speed, loops, Steve Ritchie. I mean, the 3 things go absolutely together. I would love to see that. And yes, the Sega would be wonderful to see. I like how the movie producers changed Sonic after the backlash, made it much better. T-Bone, you're so right. The original look of Sonic the Hedgehog, it was so bad. It was so bad. I am so happy that they said, you know what, they're right, we're wrong, let's get this fixed. Oh man, it was nightmare fuel, quite frankly. So it was really good that they took that out for sure. Leon Spiegel says, doesn't Stern own Sega? I think you're right, Leon. So that's what I'm worried about. Like, what does that mean? Can you have Sonic the Hedgehog without some type of Sega tie-in or license connection? I don't feel like that's possible, because Sega does own Sonic, right? I mean, it's got to be true. Fat Hog says Stern owns Sega Data East IPs. So yeah, I mean, would Stern be doing Sonic the Hedgehog? Like, did somebody get it wrong? I don't know. I've heard that it was heavily rumored that it was Jersey Jack, but it makes more sense that it would be Stern if that's true. Who knows, man? Toe Jam and Earl. Oh, that'd be cool too, Soggy Bacon. I love me some Toe Jam and Earl. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up! I used to love that clip. I would wait just to hear that clip on Genesis. It was so great. Legend Odinson. Funny when they put the ugly Sonic and Chippendale movie. Yeah. Pinball Wizard, man. Good to have you here, dude. I know you're going through a lot of crap right now. Prayers for you. We're there for you, man. Whatever you need. Good to have you here. We appreciate you, man. He's my moderator. He's a close friend. He does a lot of moderation for my Discord as well as the iScored now. Always been a wonderful helper to me, so I really appreciate you, man. A lot of Sega's classic pinballs were licensed themes, so they'd probably have to pursue relicensing. That's true, and a lot of them were movie tie-ins. Yeah, so it's really interesting. If you look at a lot of Sega IPs, they were all like Twister and Apollo 13 and Starship Troopers. They were all some really, really good movies. Apollo 13. But yeah, you'd have to figure Sega owns Sonic, but Stern owns all the Sega Data East pin stuff. Yeah, okay, so maybe that works. Maybe that's true then. So Sega could still license out Sonic. I mean, I guess that makes that sense. Point of blame. JJP makes more sense for Sonic. Yeah, I think so too, Fat Hog. It makes sense for a lot of things. And if it is Steve Ritchie, that would be huge, quite frankly, to me. So anyway, that's Sonic the Hedgehog. I think that one's exciting to me. Now, if we switch over to Stern. Stern has got rumors of 3 different tables coming in 2026. Now, it's funny, if you've seen me had a short that I did just the other day, Jack Danger kind of teased Inspector Gadget, which was kind of funny because I do not think there's an Inspector Gadget pinball table coming, but he did have a picture of Inspector Gadget where his car was transforming. So, what's interesting, and we're going to talk about this one. So, as you know, we've already had a Transformers game, but it's heavily rumored to have another one from Stern. Transformers, now this is the old Transformers game that came out in 2012, I want to say. Maybe it was 2011. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I know it's right around that area. I want to say it's 2012, 2011-ish. I love this table. This is one that I would like to buy, but I don't know that I want it more than Mandalorian. Mandalorian is much deeper. This is a much older table. Very simplistic. It's more of a basic fan layout where you hit 3 shots per lane or per ramp. But really cool game. But this is the movie tie-in Transformers. So what the rumor is that this is going to be Gen 1 Transformers. So what do you guys think of that? Now, if you've seen the VPX version of this, you'll notice that here, and I'll actually bring it up on screen here because I can. I'm pretty sure that I have Transformers. The Pro mod here. We'll show this real briefly. And let's see. I'll bring up Pinball Post Playfield. So this is going to come up here. So this is the VPX standalone version of the Gen 1 rebuild of this game. So this is Transformers, the original Stern version, but the VPX version that JP Solis did is basically a Gen 1 version. So it's kind of interesting that they did this. Yeah, so this one here, and here, I'll actually switch over to the horizontal review cam so you can actually see the back glass. So this is the actual Gen 1, and I know the camera's weird. I'm over here, guys, because I generally wouldn't use this cam, but this is the Gen 1 graphics on the playfield with your star screams and your, you've got the, I can't even remember the name of the guy who just came out, the Lego guy who has the tape recorder for his chest. This is using the exact same playfield and ROM from the 2011 game that we just showed. So you get that idea out of your head. So that it's a Gen 1, but because this is what it is. So that's an idea of what it could look like. What's interesting, though, is that now we have this idea. Now we have to go back to the Gen 1 stuff. What does Gen 1 look like? Well, Gen 1 looks a lot different depending on where you are in the world. Soundwave, thank you. I couldn't remember his name to save my life. Soggy Bacon and Legend Odinson, you guys are awesome. I'm glad you knew that off the top of your head. Soundwave, I don't know why I couldn't think of him. I really liked Ironhide and Ratchet, and those guys were all really popular to me. I loved Devastator, and it's so great. As a kid, I wanted nothing more than to have Devastator, have the 5 or 6 that connected together, and now I can't bring myself to buy it. But Transformers Gen 1. So who's excited for this one? This one I want to gauge interest on because we've already had a Transformers game from Stern. I'm more excited for this one than the alternative that I've heard a rumor of, and we'll talk about that one in a minute. But Gen 1, obviously, as you look around the world here, you got Gen 1 the Toons, you got Gen 1 the US comics, which are they're still colorful but a little darker. Then you got the UK comics, who look very different. I've never seen those at all. These are very different than what I'm used to. Gen 1 Toon would be the right choice. I think so too. It has to be, right, Fat Hog? It has to be. JP Table looks better than the Stern one. Soggy Bacon, I disagree with you. I like the Transformer movie tie-in myself. I know a lot of people like that JP Salas recreation. I don't. It's just not for me. It's funny that you like it, and I'm glad that you like it, but, man, it wasn't for me. I like the movie tie-in. I love the Transformer movies. They're all fantastic. The music is really good. I love the sound effects on it. It's got the transforming sound. It's things like that. It has the movie clips where they're putting him in their Marianas Trench and stuff like that. It's so good. I love that game so much. But yeah, I think you're right, Fat Hog. Gen 1 Toon has to be the one that they would go with. Yep, Soggy Bacon. Yeah, I agree. And I had never seen this the Japanese Gen 1 either, Toon and Magna. That would be super. It would be much more akin to like they do the flying robot versions, and what is it? There was an old PlayStation game that did that too. Not Xenogears, which is kind of like that. I want one of the original animated movies that says "You Got the Touch." I'm not sure if I'm familiar with that one, to be honest. It's been a hot minute since I've been into Transformers. I will say that. I do very much love some of the newer toys that actually transform from... You just say transform, and it actually transforms. It's super cool. A table from the Transformers cartoon movie would be great, says Soggy Bacon. Yep, I agree, man. So yeah, but are you willing to buy it? I mean, the thing with the struggle that all of these tables are going to have that come out is they have to be purchasable. These might do really good on location or when they're routed out, but do you think these games will sell well to collectors? That's a question, because if you look at Barrels of Fun, Dune basically sold out. Winchester basically sold out. Now, Winchester had there's not a lot of people who knew what Winchester was. They just kind of jumped on it, I think, because of the limited run. There was only 525 of those made. Stern makes lots and lots of games, and they sell them internationally. So it does stand to reason that maybe this will sell better in the U.S. maybe than other places, but who knows? It's really a big question to me whether or not they'll be able to do this thing justice, quite frankly. So next up, we have another one that you guys have probably understood and probably heard of a few thousand times in your life before. Now, if you're a Game Boy fan like me, you probably know all about this one. Anybody know what this one is? The other rumored Stern version? I'd be curious. Anybody? Anybody? We'll give you a few seconds. It's either Transformers Gen 1 or this. I don't know if anybody else has heard the rumors for Real Pinball. This one would be interesting. And talk about a tie-in. Talk about a licensed nightmare. All right. Pokemon. Soggy Bacon, you got it. Pokemon. Oh my goodness. Now, Pokemon is huge. Huge, I'm telling you. Maybe the biggest ever. It's a terrible impression, I get that. But, so, yes, Pokemon. Now, you could see just from this one particular screen, these are all the evolutions and different versions of Pokemon. Lame. Gotta be Pokemon, right? Point of blame, human. I know, man. First of all, I'm not a fan of Pokemon. Okay, my son is a huge fan of Pokemon. He plays all the Pokemon games. I think he's owned all of them multiple times. He did the cards. He did the games. He was huge into pinball, or into Pokemon, still is. Are people old enough to buy a Pokemon pinball table? That is my question, because I don't know that they are. I think most people who would want a Pokemon table probably are a little bit younger. 30 or I played Pokemon as a kid, so I guess if I played Pokemon Yellow, I think was the first one I ever played. So I would be curious. It's basically anybody 45 and under would have access to play Pokemon, whether or not they liked it or not. Pokemon fans aren't old enough yet. That's my take, Leon, and maybe we're wrong on that. They could technically, like my age, if you were a big fan of Pokemon, you would have, conceivably, you'd have money and time and access to play Pokemon. So, I don't know. I wouldn't be into this one. I don't get it, man. First of all, and talk about a licensing nightmare. You're going to have to work with Nintendo on this. Are you kidding me? I'm 50. I have zero desire for a Pokemon table. See, Fat Hog, I'm with you, man. I don't get it. I could see this one busting or just not doing, or bombing maybe. I don't know. They're going to sell, right? Harry Potter, I get. Those people are fanatics, and women and girls really like Harry Potter. That one's kind of timeless. It's been around for a long, long time. It's a little more prevalent. They had a lot of movies. Soggy Bacon, you couldn't care about it either. Yeah, see, I don't know, man. But then we have examples of Pokemon Pinball. VPX, we have another great version of Pokemon Pinball. Now, it's going to be more complex than this, obviously. But this is another example of what kind of like a Pokemon Pinball would be. You're going to probably do evolutions. Being that it's Stern, it's interesting because they could conceivably use Insider Connected to trade Pokemon, maybe. That might be cool. They could probably do a Venom-esque version where you could choose your starter and level them up using Insider Connected. You could continue to use those, so there would be some good versions. Digital version would sell like hotcakes. Leon, I think you're right. Man. If we had a Pokemon version at games or something, sure, I think it'd sell really well. Or Zen tables, yeah, absolutely. Point of Blame says first Pokemon game released in '96, so it's not a stretch that some early fans would have disposable cash. Okay, exactly. Yeah, you're to my point. Yeah, I first played the first game or two, but don't have the love that would make me drop money on a pin. Point of Blame. You're absolutely right, man. T-Bone, no Pokemon for me either. That came out in the 90s when my kids were young, and they can't afford one. That's a thing. So, man. Yeah, I don't... This is not for me, that's for sure. So, Pokemon. I kind of glossed over that one because I just don't see the appeal of that one. Though this next one, though, I think this could appeal to any of us. No, and I'm not a huge fan of it either, but I think it stands to reason that this one could do really, really freaking well. And Fat Hog, Legend Odinson, had the Pokemon pinball games. They were a little tedious and a little slow. Yeah, I mean, certainly The Game Boy Advance had a Pokemon pinball where you had to evolve Pokemon and different things like that. The pinball itself was a Pokeball that went around the table. Super Mario Brothers did the same thing. They had a version. This next one, now this one could be interesting to me. Fallout. So this one is rumored for the third Stern table sometime in the fall, maybe summer, fall, maybe winter of 2026. So, now does Fallout do it for you? This is a much more mature theme. Obviously, nuclear fallout is kind of a darker theme. What you see here is actually a snippet from the show Fallout, which I believe, is this on Apple TV? I can't remember if this is Apple TV. Amazon, is it Amazon Prime? It's one of those. You agree a digital one would sell for Pokemon. There is a Pokemon homebrew out there. Yeah, absolutely. There's different versions for sure. I'd rather see that absurdity a Game Boy Tetris pinball could bring. Legend, I'm with you, man. That'd be cool. Yeah. And I agree a digital one would sell, T-Bone says. I'd buy a Fallout table. I lived that game on Xbox. The Prime series. Okay, it is Amazon Prime. Is great too. T-Bone, thank you for that. Fallout based on the TV show would be awesome. Video game themed, not so much. Interesting. So you would want it to be tied to the TV show. That is an interesting take. I can't imagine they would tie it to the TV assets, but maybe. I mean, you figure if this thing is going to come out in 2026, they've probably been working on it a couple years. That show's been out a couple years, so maybe the timeline works. It's funny because we've seen Fallout digitally. We've seen it on Zen Studios, and it was actually a pretty good game. Now, Zen Studios don't have the license for that anymore. That's why we don't have it on Pinball FX. So it is interesting to talk about. You've had dreams about Fallout, and I've put so many hours into Soggy Bacon. That is cool, man. I can't say I've ever done that. I've watched the first season of Fallout on Prime. It's okay. It didn't pull me in. And this lead actress, her eyes really bother me. I don't know what it is. I know a lot of people really find her attractive, but it just, for some reason, just doesn't do it for me. Sleepy Hollow Caveman. Going back to Stern and Sega licenses, I'd love to see House of the Dead themed table. TV show uses a lot of assets from the game. Sure. Soggy Bacon. You have to believe there's going to be a Pip-Boy. You're going to have that Fallout door. Those are going to be assets for sure. The Ghoul is going to be your protagonist, or your not your protagonist, your antagonist. Right, your enemy, main enemy for the most part. Never watched it. My brother-in-law loves it. T-Bone says, "Yeah, see, this one could be interesting." So, instantly, we got much better feedback for Fallout than we did for Pokemon or Transformers Gen 1. So, like I said, this one is much more exciting to me. Would I buy it? No. I never even played any of the Fallout games. I've dabbled with a couple of them, but I never really got hooked. Nuka-Cola, yeah, that's another thing too, Fat Hog. So, yeah, there's some good assets here. So here's the Zen table that came out that was Fallout. And this one has some really cool stuff going on. And you always forget about this dog. This dog is so crazy. I can never remember his name, but he's quite the awesome character. Nuka-Cola is represented up here, which is kind of cool. This is that door that I was talking about. And then, of course, you got the Pip-Boy down here. All really cool assets. I like the color of this. It's pretty dark. It's kind of, rustic and vintage in the same way. It's a futuristic world, but there's been a nuclear fallout, so everything's kind of broken down. And, they've got these capsules and, really cool sliding doors and things like that. Dog meat. That's cool. I see. Point of blame. I haven't played it enough to do it. Deathclaw Bash toy. Okay. Never played Fallout. Too long for my attention span. Yeah, T-Bone, I'm with you, man. And Legend Odinson says, I've enjoyed the very original Fallout game, the overhead RPG with Ron Perlman narration. Woof. Ron Perlman's pretty cool. He do the armor as well. in the show. I think I'd seen something about that. So yeah, this one's super exciting to me. I would love to see a Fallout. I think this could be done really, really well. It's interesting to see for sure. Yeah, I'm really interested about this one. Could Fallout be that super hit? It sure makes you wonder. And if you tie it to the TV assets, it does make a lot of sense. It does make a lot of sense. So I completely agree with you guys on that one. It is interesting. Fallout is gaming crack for completionists. Me, Soggy Bacon. So you like to loot things. You probably love Skyrim too. And we had a Skyrim pinball too. Based on this, we had Bethesda. We had what was it? We had Doom, we had Fallout, and we had Skyrim, and they were all fantastic games. Yeah, man, I'm with you. This one could be exciting just because of the source material. I think they could do a lot with it. I don't remember any of the music or any of those, but I think this one could be really, really good. So interesting for sure, man. And that's not even half of it. You know, we talked a little bit. We've talked a lot about the real pinball machines that are coming out. Now we could start to transition into some of the digital stuff. So if you guys were here strictly for the real pinball stuff, thank you for watching. If you want to fall off now, I totally get it. We're going to get into some of the digital stuff coming out for At Games and for Zachariah Pinball next, and we still got a lot to cover. So I've taken 45 minutes of your time already, so I want to get into it for sure. Pointer says, I must have over 1,000 hours across the Fallout games. No regrets. See, that is commitment. That is commitment. I do not have that. I've done quite a bit of that on, say, some Zelda games. Maybe. I've done a lot of hours on Rocket League. But yeah. I'd play Fallout Pinball, but not the video game. Interesting. Okay, fair enough, T-Bone. I get that. Okay, so let's start getting into some digital pinball. This is a huge announcement. You're all super excited about this one, I'm sure. This was announced by Zachariah just last week. Before we move on, are you now holding out for a Mando? Yes, Fat Hog, I am. I had considered maybe buying a No Fear. I've looked at Transformers, that 2011, 2012 game for about $4,000. Ideally, I wanted a P3, but price-wise, it's going to cost me $12,000 to even get into a P3. Between buying the original cabinet and then having to go with a module, it's going to cost me about $11,000. Even if I buy it from somebody else at used, they're going to want to sell me the cabinet and a bunch of modules together. So it could be really, really pricey. So it kind of priced me out of the ball game, I think. So I'm going to have to go. I started thinking about Sword of Rage. That one's about $6,000. That's kind of a dream machine for me. But it doesn't have a lot to do in that one. That game's much more simple. Whereas Mando has a lot of stuff going on. I watched Carl D'Angelo's gameplay of it from 3 years ago, and he takes you through all of the modes, showed you the wizard mode, all the hunter modes. There's a lot going on in it. It's really cool. Obviously, the music is top-notch. The assets are there. Carl Weathers does the speech for it and the call-outs. I mean, it's the perfect game for me. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, but I loved The Mandalorian. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I've got my Pinfield wax, rubbers, and bulbs for my Captain Fantastic today. Oh, that's so cool, man. So I have a busy day ahead of me. Fat Hog, I am so happy for you, man. You got your first pinball machine, and you got it for what, $250, I think you said? It was going to be $400, but I had a little bit of work to do. $250, I think you said, but man, that's fantastic. And Captain Fantastic. Dirt Brown Cowboy, I believe it was. Pretty cool. So, congratulations. I know Soggy Bacon, you got a real pinball machine. Legend Odin said you'd love to have a Black Knight 2000 or Centaur. The music on Black Knight 2000. Oh, so true, man. And yep. Okay, like I said, I think it was about $250. Okay, next up. Primal Carnage Extinction. Now, I don't know. This is my speculation. They said it's going to be another Primal Carnage series. So another 4 games from Primal Carnage. I assume it's going to be Extinction. I'm going to take that leap and say that it's Extinction, but maybe not. This is an older IP. This is what I was able to find looking through some pinball or through some PC game stuff from Primal Carnage and found Extinction stuff. So yeah, $250 for the machine, or about $70 in parts and such. Okay, still a great deal, man. Learned to play it on bass before my hands, neck, and shoulders went bad. Oh, the music. Oh, dude. Legend Odinson. I tried to learn guitar a few years back, just before COVID actually, and I was quite heavy at the time, and I had trigger fingers and all kinds of stuff, and I really couldn't do it. But I enjoyed it, but it did not go as well as it hoped. This has got to be better than the first 4, doesn't it? Fat Hog, you sure hope so, man. The Primal Carnage games were not particularly good, but I think maybe they've learned their lesson and will do better by them this time. I don't know. The Blood West games were pretty good. If you played those on Zachariah, and maybe we'll touch on those in a little bit too. But yeah, 4 more Primal Carnage games. So that's a thing. Is anybody excited for those? I don't know. It could be exciting. One that we didn't get on At Games that I think we're still probably going to get at some point is this one here. So this is the remake. So Primal Carnage Remake. This is the one where you do you're hunting eggs of the dinosaurs. I still think this is probably going to come out on At Games at some point. For some reason it didn't. We never got it. So we'll see. It's hard to be worse than the original 4. You're absolutely right, man. Point of blame. If they are also bad, the Extinction jokes write themselves. Well, I don't know if it's Extinction, but you're right. If it would be Extinction, that would be hilarious, because you're right. That does write itself, point of blame. You are so right. Legend of says viewer, stage musician, multiple sclerosis put on top of that. That's why I can really only enjoy digital pinball these days. Man, I get that. That sucks, dude. I mean, it's great that you've been able to transition hobbies into pinball and stuff, obviously, but yeah, it sucks with any type of illness or something that can cause that. I know for me, just trigger finger and the inflammation that I had, I couldn't walk all that well. There's no way. If I tried to play pinball 3-4 years ago at my heaviest weight, 305, there's no way. I couldn't have stood there. I would have been sitting on a stool. I couldn't have played. So, why does the T-Rex have an ET flipper feet for hands? Heck if I know, man. He does have some really goofy hands. They're not flipper feet, but yeah, they're very two-fingerish, aren't they? And I don't know what these round sections are by the nose. It's really different. I've never really seen those before. I don't know if that plays into the series somehow. I don't know. So, yeah, man. Primal Carnage could be interesting, but I don't know, man. And with that, we'll just jump over to this right here. So this is the original Primal Carnage games. We had the retro version, the solid state, the remake, and the deluxe. They're going to do the same thing again. So we're going to get 4 of those. We'll get another retro, another solid state EM type of game, another remake version, if you will, and another deluxe. So we'll see how that goes. I would love them to just not worry about locking them into those different eras and just make 4 really good pinball machines. I don't know why they have to force themselves to do that. Kind of disappointing. The possible AI generation could have caused the weird flipper. Oh, you're absolutely right, Legend Odinson. We've seen some really crazy artwork over the years, and I'm gonna cover that in one of these shows where I'm just gonna go through and just rail on the fact that they use AI for stuff and point out all the bad AI. We could do a whole show on that pretty easy. But yeah, these were the original 4 tables. Are they great? No, but they're tables, right? So this next group, we have to believe they're coming, but we're not entirely sure. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up Zachariah Pinball. We're going to kind of go through some of those real quick. We know that there's a few tables that we have not gotten yet that we know we're going to get. Obviously, we're talked about Clown Deluxe. That one's coming already. So let's talk about that one. PC Live Gaming. I believe it's this one. Yeah. So we can jump right into... I'll turn this up so you guys can hear it. All right. So now if we're looking at Zachariah Pinball games, now Zachariah Pinball kind of gives us a snapshot into what games are going to come to At Games in many ways, except for the At Games originals. We don't know anything about those. We still know that there's at least 3 more of those coming. We already got Baby Shark, Turtles, and Fire Wildlands. It's heavily speculated that we're going to get some more first responder games, but we don't know what they're called or what they could be. So we'll see. We don't know what's out there. For this one, Zachariah Pinball, if we come down here, we could talk about the EM Pluses. Now these EM Plus games are pretty cool, I will say. I'll turn down the volume just a little bit on that. So these tables are the ones that are already out for Zachariah Pinball. Combat is a really cool game. We've talked about this one in the past. I know I've done videos on these. Earth, Wind, and Fire I didn't like. Firefall I didn't like. Spooky's pretty cool. It's a little dark. But they've proven that they don't care about dark themes. They'll bring them over. Supersonic is really cool. Hot Wheels kind of sucks, honestly. Locomotion's pretty cool. Woods Queen, we have to assume we're going to get all of these. We have not heard any... Nothing's locked in with At Games for the EM Plus series, but I have to believe these are coming. I know Point of Blaze, or Blaze has definitely mentioned them before as well as being somewhat confirmed that he found them on a server or something, I don't know. Not necessarily found them on a server, but he's able to scour the internet and find things. I don't know how he does it. But the EM Plus games are pretty cool. So we'll jump into combat here just quickly here. I'm going to turn this off so I don't get confused. And we'll start this game just so you can see it here. You'd rather have the EM Plus games over the deluxe releases from Zach. Soggy Bacon, dude, I'm kind of with you, man. These tables are... The more simplistic nature of these tables actually leads into some much better gameplay, I think. As we look over this table, I mean, this is pretty darn cool. This has some cool assets that we do not have on the At Game system right now. This little whip ramp that you see here, I'm hoping that I can display this. No, it doesn't show it on there, but there's some really cool stuff going on here. They've got some really cool assets. They don't have music or modes, really. These ones are just kind of good pinball machines. And look at, what's the biggest feature you see here that you don't see here? No center posts. Tomato Grass will be thrilled. I accidentally paid for the Baby Shark because I couldn't find where to put it in my coupon code. Never intended to spend money on that table. I'm so sorry, Legend Odinson. I apologize, man. I really want to play the EM Plus games. I don't have a proper PC, though. Okay, so I'm playing these on a Legion Go, so that is an option. Even though I do not have a full-on... I mean, I could play them on my PC. I play them on the Legion Go, and it plays awesome. So that's what I'm actually showing them on here as well. So they've got some really good games here. That is just one section. Next up, we have to jump all the way down to the deluxe tables. So the deluxe tables, obviously most of these tables we already have. We've talked about them at nauseum. The ones that we do not have as of yet, Pinball Champ. We've never got Pinball Champ. We never heard more about Pinball Champ. You see these have been pretty much released in order, but Pinball Champ got skipped over, so I'm not really sure what happened to that one. You don't know where Legion Go is? Dude, it's a PC handheld. It's an 8.8-inch screen. I wish I could show it to you, but since I'm connected to it, you won't be able to do that. Awesome system. But yeah, we never got Pinball Champ. Clown Deluxe. This is the one we're getting tomorrow. So let's pull this one up real quick. We'll look at it briefly. This one is kind of strange, and you'll see my review on this one. The music is super goofy on this one, and I'm gonna let the photo mode kind of show you this table as we talk about it. So Clown Deluxe is coming out tomorrow for At Games. We did notice on the AI artwork that the clown actually on the table here that you're seeing on the playfield here has 6 fingers. The clown in the background is pretty creepy, and then the one on the back glass is basically nightmare fuel. So the theming is kind of all over the place on this one. That is super strange to me. If you didn't already know, this game actually cusses as well. It says, "Damn, he is good. Damn, he is good." You'll hear that call out in the game. So it's kind of directed towards kids, I would think, having a cutesy little clown on the playfield, and then they go on and they show a demon clown on the back. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But this is the table we're getting tomorrow. The table plays pretty good. It's a little confusing in the modes, but you'll see my full review on it tomorrow. But definitely pretty cool. Hope they fix the 6 fingers. They aren't fixing the 6 fingers. They ain't gonna do any of that. Now, I asked them before to fix this problem here, this demon clown. Like, if you're gonna do this table, I don't know why they just wouldn't use the cutesy clown, redo it, add it to the Clown Deluxe for the back glass, and call it a day. It could have been, it would have made the table that much better. Just keep a consistent theming on it. It's really, it's disgusting to me that they kind of did that, but regardless, I mean, that's my opinion, of course. Next up, we got all the way to Mexico Deluxe, which was a fantastic release. Granada Deluxe, I know you just mentioned it in the chat here, Leon. Granada Deluxe, awesome game. I am completely with you. It's one of my favorites. Awesome game. Time Machine is really cool. It's a little different, and it's we'll see where that one goes. Stars Phoenix, you got to figure we're gonna get that one. Devil Riders. Aerobatics is one of my new favorites. It has that really cool shot that we've talked about in the past. If you haven't seen my 25 year in review for Zaccaria, definitely check it out. I go through all these games in detail. And then, of course, Winter Sports Deluxe, the best Zaccaria table. Has the best voice acting of any Zaccaria pinball table you've ever played. Hands down, best game of the year. No question. Winter Sports Deluxe, that's the game to get. The voice acting, man, so good. Anyway. Okay, so that is for Zaccaria Pinball. So, any of those pique your interest? I know there's lots of games in there. There's basically, we're looking at another 6 tables, so that could probably get us into April, I would suspect, as far as Zaccaria tables go. For Zen tables, let's jump over to Pinball FX. I can't believe they're releasing that clown mess as is. Artwork is trash. Fat Hog. Yes. So yes, Mad Ben, and welcome to the stream, buddy. New table tomorrow for the 4KP. Yes, it is coming tomorrow. Noon Eastern time. You should have it. Definitely. And why is that turned? What in the world? Really? This one's turned. I don't understand why that would be the case for this. So, okay, well, we won't be able to do that. But we'll just go back to the spot cam for this one. But Pinball FX, we can talk about it for sure. The tables that we have not gotten for Pinball FX, there's a lot of tables that we haven't got for Pinball FX. Obviously the Star Wars tables. I don't know that those are going to come right away. I do think they're going to come, for sure. Legend Odinson, you do think that's very strange. It is. Zaccaria Pinball on Steam is Mac compatible. Okay, it is. I didn't know that. Interesting. Good to know, Leon. I didn't know that. In Legend Odinson, I find it strange that none of the other Time Machine tables include the original gimmick of raising and lower the playfield. I don't know that they could fully do that any justice. So maybe that's why they didn't, Legend. I don't know. You could be able to change the FX orientation in the main menu. Yeah, it's right on my screen here, but for some reason it's not on. I'll see if I can switch it real quick, but it's a little funny that it. Let's see if it switches over. And I'll change the resolution real quick. Let's go up to about 1200p. See if I can get it to work good for you guys at least. Yeah, it's still really strange. Anyway, I don't usually see that with this. This is actually set to be a vertical screen, so it's super skewed, which is really kind of sucky, I gotta say. I was hoping with a little bit of finesse here that I could get it. Give me 1 second here. We'll see if we can get it. 1080p maybe. Let's do, if we can do windowed maybe. Let's see if that fixes it. Come on. It's a little better. A little better. Kinda. Ah, there we go. There we go. We kind of got it. Alright. Now we can at least show it. It's not going to be perfect, but you'll get the point. Okay. Here we go. Let's do PC Live Gaming. Perfect. Okay, this works. So, yeah, so Pinball FX. So, I would like to think that we're going to get some more Zen Originals. I think that would be really cool if we do. I don't know that we are. I have not heard anything specifically. It's been rumored that we're going to get Wrath of the Elder Gods. I know Blaze has mentioned that one. The other ones that we've talked about is more Zen tables, or more Williams tables. So the Williams tables in question have been Black Knight 2000, which I am stoked about. I would love to see that machine. It is absolutely one of my favorite Zen FX games. That one would be absolutely awesome. I don't think we're going to get Bonsai Run. I think that one's going to be delayed again. They broke up the other ones. We never got Safe Cracker. We never got Circus Voltaire. We never got... there was another one, too, that we never got that had the back glass integration stuff that just doesn't work for this. Kind of disappointing. We've missed out on a few because of those types of issues. I think Bonsai Run's another one that we're just not going to get for now. And then the speculation is we know that there's some new tables coming on 1/22, January 22nd. So next Thursday, I think it is, right? Is it next Thursday? Yeah, next Thursday, FX is going to announce 3 more tables for digital to come out. I would hope that they're going to come out day and date with games like they did before with the Elvira tables. That would be the hope. Camp Bloodbrook would be a good one. Marvel and Star Wars will sell fast like crazy on the HDP themed machines. Fat Hog, you are so right. Digital version of original Time Machine uses it fine. Yeah, I know, you're right, Legend. You're totally right, man. I don't know why they couldn't do it. They've kind of gone their own path. They've almost re-themed most of those tables, which has been kind of interesting. VPX Bonsai Run is great. Active back glass works on it. Yeah. Andrew Skinner, welcome, man. Bloodbrook is the real deal. You're right. It's a great game. Camp Bloodbrook is an absolutely awesome game. I love that it's not the licensed version of... Is it Nightmare on Elm Street, right? It's just kind of, it's re-themed of kind of that same hacker slasher type of film. Scared Stiff back glass integration was just fine. I'm with you, Wingo. Like, I don't care. Like, it works. It did its job just fine. Now, this is Pinball FX. Now, this doesn't include any of the Pinball M's tables. Those would be an option. Who knows if we're going to stay away from licensed tables for a while or if we're going to jump right back in. I would like to think this is big news for the pinball community. Friday the 13th. Okay, great. Coda. Hopefully I got that right. K-O-H or K-H-O, duh. Coda. I think I got that right. Just prove you don't need a license to be great. Absolutely. Camp Bloodbrook does that in spades. It's a great game. And just because it has a IP doesn't make it great. We've seen that with Duke Nukem. Duke Nukem is not a great table. It's a Pinball M table, but it's not a great table. I've tried to get into it a few times and just never really... It doesn't resonate at all. I heard the 4KP is getting Black Knight 2000 too soon. Any ETA? I have not heard anything official on that. I know Blaze has mentioned the Earthshaker and Black Knight 2000 are coming. But that's about it. I don't have any dates on those or anything yet. I know they're coming. They have to be. They have to be the ones next in order. Unless we get something completely off the wall. I mean, we haven't got any Zen Originals in a while. I know they were kind of going... They went with the Honor and Legacy series with Samurai's Vengeance and Vern's Mysterious Island there for a little bit. we might get some more of those that could just get tossed in. I would love to get Princess Bride. Give me Princess Bride. Give me Grimtails. Give me Excalibur. Give me Hercules. Oh my gosh, Hercules is a great table. I don't know if you guys have played that one. So yeah, I could see. I mean, we got a lot of these, quite frankly. We got the Tomb Raider games. We didn't get Goat Simulator, which I could care less about Goat Simulator. But Chaotic, what's going on, man? Long time no see, man. Good to see you. I think it would be tough for Zen not to primarily focus on the Williams license. I know, but Legend, I'm kind of with. Yeah, give me Grimtails, right? I'm totally with you, man. Loved Hercules. Yeah, I really like the odd Balls of Steel Duke Nukem pinball tables. It isn't included anymore, unfortunately. Yeah, Legend. We lost out on a lot of great tables. Portal, the Zen table for Portal is awesome. It was a Thomas Crofts game, so it's heartbreaker to me because I love his tables. Really love that table. I hope they would get that license back. We lost Archer. We lost Bob's Burgers, Family Guy, American Dad. All awesome tables. I would love to have all of those came back. Aliens. Good point. Yeah, Princess Bride, Chaotic. Missed the calendar. Do you think they'll put out an Elton John on digital? No, I wish. That could have been good too, but... So yeah, it is what it is, man. But yeah, Aliens. So my speculation... Here, we're going to jump out of Pinball FX. Let's go back to the spot cam just for a quick second here. I'm going to jump over to the old internet, the interwebs. Let's talk about this right here. So we got this announcement from Zen today. 4:55. The Pinball Bites premiere on January 22nd is going to be a legendary franchise is making a comeback to our pinball platforms, and it's going to be huge. Drop your guesses in the comments. Now, I don't know about you, but if you start thinking about the franchise, a legendary franchise that Pinball FX has had before but no longer does, what could it be? To me, I'm thinking Aliens. Like, initially I thought, well, legendary franchise. Isn't one of these IPs legendary? I thought that's Godzilla, right? Weren't those considered legendary? Didn't they have a legendary logo or something that popped up? But we already have those. We already have those on VR. We already have them on At Games. So I'm like, legendary franchise. So to me, that's 3 tables of all the same making a comeback, which means they've already had it on their platform and they've renewed the license. Oh man. I mean, it could be Bethesda. Could it be Bethesda? Man, that would be awesome too. So that would be your Doom, that would be your Skyrim, and that would be your Fallout. Those would be awesome too. But Aliens could be one. Godzilla tables are legendary, yes. See, I thought so. Thank you for Chaotic. I thought for sure they were. Aliens with the sound effects kit would be amazing. Give me Battlestar Galactica treatment, right? Fear itself was a really fun Marvel table. Love the sound effects. There's a lot of really good... Well, I take that back, Legend. I don't generally like a lot of the Marvel games. And there's only a handful of the Star Wars tables I really like, too. I really like Mandalorian. I like that Droids is pretty good. I like Starfighter, where you're fighting with the Starfighters. X-Wings and TIE Fighters is really cool. Not a lot of the Marvel tables I like. Deadpool's okay. I like Ant-Man. Fantastic Four is pretty good. I don't know. A lot of those are just fluff to me. I know a lot of people want them. I'm not a big fan of them. But it is what it is. Princess Bride, yeah, that's the one I really want, Princess Bride. But that's a licensed IP, so I figure that's probably going to take a little longer. Bethesda would be awesome. That and Fox tables are the only reason I use Pinball FX3. I'm with you, Fat Hog. Portal's the one to me that always makes me go back to Pinball FX3. I have to play Portal. Aliens would be the best, possibly based on a hint that they gave. Yes, awesome use of the sound effects. Andrew Skinner, thank you for that. So that's my guess. I think Aliens is it. It would be one that has kind of faded a little bit and we kind of forgot about it. But Alien Isolation, that particular game is really, really good. I don't remember the other two games all that well. So I don't know, man. Aliens could be really interesting, and hopefully they come out day and date. That would be the really awesome thing. So yeah, I'm super interested in that. What will happen there? Like I said, 2026, and we're talking about a lot of games coming out this year. Now we talked about 5 or 6 real pinball tables. We know there's going to be more than that. Turner's got another game in the hopper. They've already did Ninja Eclipse and Merlin's Arcade. They're going to have a game that comes out this year. A lot of people speculate that that's going to be a licensed IP for Turner Pinball, since they've done the 2 unlicensed IPs so far. Ninja Eclipse is awesome. I don't know if you guys have played that one. It's a fantastic game. Merlin's Arcade is okay. It's good, not great. But I would love to see a licensed IP from them. I think the quality of their tables is really good. Turner Pinball makes a quality table. And then we talk about the digital pinball side. We figure you got at least 6 digital tables. You got another 8. So that's like 14 tables right there. If we talk about the EMs and we talk about the deluxe table, that's 14 new tables coming from Zachariah so far. We have to believe there's more EM plus tables coming than that. And we know that there's more deluxe tables coming because they still have more room for them, and there's still some IPs that they haven't covered in the deluxe format. So they're coming. The other 2 were Predator and Aliens vs. Predator. They were? Wow, that tells you how little I knew I played those 2 games. I liked the Aliens one, but I didn't like Predator or Aliens vs. Predator. Wow, that's funny. Thank you for that. Man, I do not... That's right over top of my head. CU Saros says the biggest rumors for physical pinball are Pokemon, Transformers G1, and Fallout from Stern, Sonic, and Halo. I had not heard Halo. We talked about all the other ones, but I did not hear about Halo. Halo would be cool. Well, who's rumored to make Halo? Is Jersey Jack doing that? CU Saros? I mean, Halo is huge. I mean, if you're an Xbox guy, Halo is the shit, man. It's Alien Isolation, and Alien vs. Predator. Okay. So there wasn't just a Predator one. Okay. I remember there being a crossover, kind of like then when they did the Godzilla ones. I agree that Aliens Isolation was the best of the 3. Cool. Yeah, no Predator. Okay, cool. So, yeah, thanks for the clarification on that. So, yeah, like to me... We've got 2026 is shaping up to be an amazing year. 2025, I think, blew us out of the water when we really went back and looked. We got like 40 some tables. There was a lot of content. I mean, there was a lot of content. Halo is rumored for Pinball Brothers. Interesting. What? That's a hell of a license for Pinball Brothers, man. So the makers of Predator would turn around and make Halo? Wow, that's something. That's an interesting one. Good pull, man. I'm going to have to look into that. I had not heard that. I haven't heard Retro Ralph or Kerry Hardy or any of those guys say Halo. I'd be all about it. Correction, Chicago Gaming Company. Okay. They generally do remakes, so for them to do their own IP would be kind of cool. Obviously, they did Medieval Madness, Attack from Mars, Cactus Canyon most recently. But Pinball Brothers could work. If Halo Table happens to be a Jersey Jack, considering what they did with Avatar. It's a good point, Chaotic. I love Avatar. Although the biggest problem I've had with Avatar is that table's breaking down already. That's a really expensive table. And for whatever reason, that one tends to break down. I'm not sure what's going on with that one. I've had a lot of issues with Avatar on location. I mean, it gets a lot of plays, right? But there's still a half a dozen real Zachariah tables that we have not released digitally. Don't know why. Name a couple of those, Winko. I'm surprised. I mean, there's a lot of There's when you say Zachariah tables, I'm thinking Gottlieb tables too. I would love to see some Gottlieb tables come back in 2026. That would be cool. Or at least fix the ones we have, right? That would be really awesome. Yeah, man. 2026 is gonna rock, guys. I know it's probably gonna be a slow start, like they typically are. January is usually pretty slow. I'm really happy that we're getting Clown Deluxe tomorrow. That's going to be exciting because I didn't really expect that to happen in January. I expected everything to be pushed out to at least February. So that's cool to see. Back to the Future is also rumored for Dutch Pinball. Pfft, wow. I didn't see that either. You got the inside track, man. Stick around. I want you to come back more often, man. Good stuff. The reskins of the US versions. Never heard of Zachariah Pinball until the old Android app and then the Switch version. But Jersey Jacks is eyeing Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah, we've talked about that. I hope that Steve Ritchie gets a hold of that. Loops, Speed, Steve Ritchie. Those all go together. That's an absolute lock. Chaotic, if you didn't watch the first 40 minutes of this, definitely go back and watch it. We talked about all the different tables that are possibly coming to Real Pinball as well. This has been a really good show. Ski Jump Spice City, 10 stars, 10 up, New Stars Phoenix, and Queen's Castle. I haven't heard any of those. Obviously, we've dabbled with Stars Phoenix. Queen's Castle sounds interesting to me. I would be on for that. I can't imagine there's many licensing issues with that. Those are older IPs at this point. So it is what it is, man. Oh, and those were reskins. I gotcha. Okay. AVP table has a cool thermal mode, Sonic Soggy Bacon. I missed that comment there. I gotta go back and look at that now. I've got it on Switch, so maybe I'll go back on the Switch and check it out. Alright, guys, well, let's wrap it up there. I've kept you for an hour and 20 minutes. And like I said, I never intend this show to be... I didn't expect to spend as much time on Real Pinball as we did, but we had a great conversation with it. Thank you guys so much for coming and enjoying this time with me. I know these last couple of shows have been kind of off theme for this channel generally, but I think these have been really pertinent to the times. We wanted to cover 2025 with some authority. We covered digital versus real pinball last week. I think is a huge topic for this channel or any channel in the pinball space. And then, of course, this week we wanted to talk about 2026. And lo and behold, we got a drop coming to even talk about, which was Clown Deluxe. So that worked out really, really well for this channel. Thank you so much for coming here. I appreciate everybody coming out. I'm about 10 subs shy of 800, so if you're watching tonight and are not subbed, I hope you'll consider it. We do a lot of pinball content on this channel. If you're also not a part of my Discord community, definitely check the description of this video. There is a link to my Discord as well. We talk about real, digital, VR pinball, anything pinball. It's in there. We also do a lot of different community stuff with AI, and we do Walkabout Golf. We talk about Detroit area pinball, so if you're in the Detroit metro area, we're going to do meetups and play pinball that way. Yeah, drop a like. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for being here. And as always, you only need one ball for greatness. I've proved it numerous times. I did it on Egypt yesterday. I played an amazing game on Egypt, 1.2 billion points. And it was basically all on the first ball. Let's be honest. So you only need one ball for greatness. Keep plunging, and we'll see you next time, guys. Bye-bye.